everyone, welcome to a new video. Today we're going to do a 5 ways to wear it, but we're going to do something a little different from what I usually do. We're going to go head to head between two little black dresses that I picked up. Somewhat because I needed to fill a gap in my closet, but also because I'm heading to Colombia for a month and I wanted to bring at least one of these along with me. I know that I really like this dress and it's a little bit thicker, so I think it can be more versatile, like mid-spring through mid-fall, especially because it'll layer. But this is really cute, and I think they serve different purposes. So the debate is, are they different enough to warrant keeping both? They're not particularly expensive. This was on sale at Everlane. They still have this. This is on sale at Everlane for like $30-some right now, $38. And this is also on sale at Veronica Beard, and I saw it. I got it off Bloomingdale's for like $114, but I literally just saw it yesterday for like $104 from the Veronica Beard site. So I might be able to get even more money back. So that's what we're doing. If you're new here, I'm Kim. I love fashion, travel, and the details of everyday life. If you enjoy those kinds of things, then consider subscribing and we'll enjoy it together. So just quickly to give you some concept of sizing, these are both size 12s. This one fits great. I just did these, I showed you these in my haul, which was my last video. It's like a bunch of stuff that I picked up in the Christmas sales. And then this is also a size 12. In all honesty, I need to size up to a 14 because it's a little tight in the hips, and I think it'll give me a slightly better shape. So if I do decide to keep it, I will be sizing up. But this one fits perfectly as a 12. I think also by nature of the cut of the dress, this is just an easier fit than this one. It's always a little harder to fit correctly when you're doing something that's a little closer to the body. Anyway, let's get started. Obviously, you can wear them just very simply. Like this is just throwing the dress on. I guess you would call it like wearing it versus styling it. But even if you just don't want to put any styling effort into it, I think it's a pretty cute dress. So, just throw it on with a pair of heels, or you could also pair it with these little flats if you wanted to give it a slightly more like professional vibe. However, a scarf goes a very long way. So let's try it with this scarf. And I'm gonna try a technique that I saw, but I'm really not great at tying scarves, so bear with me here. Okay, I couldn't make the way I was trying to do it, so I just did it the way I normally do it. Okay, so this is with the scarf. I actually think that a little twilly that's tied more like a little bow would probably work better for this dress just because of the neckline and the way it fits. But you get the concept. You can just have a little scarf. Actually, let's just do that for you. Let's see if we can do that. I don't have a twilly. It's something I need to do. But let's assume it goes like this. Yes, I think that's much better. This is a way cuter way to tie it, but you get the idea. A little scarf adds a lot of something to it, and I think just a little black clutch. How cute are you? Ready for like an afternoon? Again, change out the heels, you get a totally different look. It gives it a bit more polish to do the like little sling black flats rather than an open toe like casual sandal, even though these are like a dressier sandal. But yeah, I think this is really cute actually. I would love to wear this in summer, just out and about running errands or to brunch with some friends. This is super easy and all I did was throw on a scarf. Here is the Everlane version of it. This dress has actual pockets. The other one are fake. And they're both linen, by the way. This one is a thicker linen. It's got more stretch to it. It is lined with rayon, whereas that one is like a lighter linen with a cotton lining. So again, I think that one is just a bit better for like the really hot summer months, whereas this one is probably a little bit more year-round. So thus adding to its versatility. And I think this neckline looks a little bit better with more variations of scarf tying. So you've got it this way, which is pretty cute, but I could equally tie it the other way that it was with the other one. Sorry, I really need to practice my scarf tying because it's really cute when people do it well, but I don't. I mean, I would zhuzh this a little bit, but you get the idea. So I just think that this one is probably a little bit more versatile because of the neckline if you're just going for like throw on one accessory and done. You could also do this one. I think this is quite nice. Yeah, I'd say if you're just going for like a scarf accessory, this is probably a much better neckline and therefore the better dress. But let's move on to something that's very like weekend casual, running errands. Okay, so this is inherently just a more casual, relaxed, easy, almost sporty vibe. And all I did was add a t-shirt and change the shoes. Like, it's really that easy. So it's quite versatile in that way. This is really cute for like running around doing errands on the weekends, like wearing this grocery shopping or something if you wanted to. I would also say if you are like me going on vacation soon and you know you're going to be going into like churches and places where you need to cover your shoulders and where they don't want like really short dresses. I mean, ideally, this isn't too short. I don't think this is too short, but it depends on where you are. Some places prefer your knees to be covered. So just kind of know where you are. But if you know you're kind of be going in and out of places where they prefer especially your shoulders to be covered and your chest, this is a great option. Also, if you're somebody who's like really concerned about modesty, although I don't really think that this is revealing in any way, but everybody has different expectations. So that's something to consider. This goes really nicely with a tank top underneath. In the fall, throw a long sleeve underneath it. It's super cute. You could make it a little funkier with some mesh. There are so many options to layer this under just like a basic t-shirt. I also think this could be really cute with like a band t-shirt peeking through or something like that. It just really depends on what you're into. But really just simple. Throw on your Trader Joe's tote bag and go grab some groceries and you look super put together, but also very casual. Such a cute little outfit. I really like this one. It also gives very much like Cher from Clueless, like that one scene. I'll insert a video if I can find it, but for some reason I feel a little like sporty Cher. You know what I mean? All right, let's see how it works with the Everlane top. Okay, this does not work. I don't like the necklines together, and something about the t-shirt just doesn't work the way that the other one did. The other one showed a lot more of the t-shirt. It intentionally felt a little sportier, casual. This just feels wrong. It just doesn't work. And I don't know if there's a way to make that work. I do have like a white high neck, kind of shorter sleeve, silk, like close to the body shirt that might work with this a little bit better just because it's a little dressier versus just like a casual t-shirt. But I don't love the seaming here for some reason. It doesn't bother me with the other one, but maybe it's because the seam is interfering with this seam and it just looks odd to have them so close together. Like it looks like I'm trying to make this a dress with sleeves instead of wearing a t-shirt underneath a dress and intentional layering. This looks like I was trying to execute something and it didn't work. The other one looks intentional. I think that's what it is. Also, just like, again, with the neckline, it doesn't work. So I guess the Veronica Beard one wins on this particular outfit. But again, I think there probably is a way to make this work. I just have to give it a little bit more experimentation. At least with this particular top, the Veronica Beard one wins. Where I think that they're both gonna tie is with this one. So let's see how that works. I feel very cute. Okay, so you can do this with any white button-up shirt. I do think that having a fabric that is a little bit more silky or drapey is going to be better than like a stiff cotton, but you could definitely do a stiff cotton. You just need to make sure it's like close to the body. Otherwise it's going to be bulky and sticking out in different areas. So I prefer, I don't know, this is like a halogen top that I got forever ago. It's probably like rayon or something. Better to have silk if you can, but we work with what we have. So I think this is so cute. This is adorable. Again, you could wear it to like a dressier weekend event. You could wear it to the office for sure. This is a very office appropriate outfit. And it would go really easy day to night if you would just take off the top. All of a sudden, you're completely dressed. I don't really think that you're taking the Chanel boy to the office. Maybe you are. Maybe you're fabulous like that. But you get the idea. You can just go day to night by taking off the top, and all of a sudden you have a slightly less daytime outfit, and it's totally fine. I did pair it with these heels because these are little like Everlane flats. A lot of my stuff is from Everlane lately. However, I'll just do a little quick comparison with this little flat from Sam Edelman. I think it's from Sam Edelman. It's either that or Vince Camuto. But you can kind of see like a little black and white or a little black. This is going to be easier to transition to the evening, but once you take away this white shirt, this whiteness doesn't necessarily tie in quite as well, although if you were carrying the pearl boy bag, then it might a little bit better. I think this is also inherently just a little bit more summery. So, but the shoe options, you see? See how those work? It's very cute. I feel very feminine and like a little preppy, a little bit more like Blair Waldorf-esque, which is super fun. I don't do super feminine very often, but when I do, this is how I do it. Exact same concept, slightly different vibe, whereas the other one felt a little bit more like preppy. I guess they both feel very preppy, but one, I don't know, this feels more like Prada to me for some reason. Am I the only one? Like, is that strange to say? This feels kind of like if Prada was going to do it, this is what Prada would do. And maybe they already have. They probably have. So I don't know. I don't know what it is about like having just the collar. This really lets the collar pop. And I think this kind of style would be really fun with a much more patterned shirt like this, where the collar and the sleeves can really add a statement to it. I don't know, it's the same but very different all at the same time, which I think is really fun. And that's why I said I think they're gonna tie. They both equally execute very well on this like layered under or over a white shirt, but the result is just very, very different in terms of feel. They're both very preppy, but they do feel very different, right? Oh, I put on the wrong shoe. Let's try it with the white ones, shall we? Does this do anything? Yeah, I think the white shoes are fun. This does feel inherently a bit more conservative. I feel a little bit more like chic nun. In like the best way, you know? But it is a bit more conservative feeling than the other one. And again, I think that's because there's just more like coverage, even though the other one was fully covered as well. But I don't know, it's just interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna say that one's a tie. So next, I wanted to do a much sportier look. We're gonna go back to the sporty. I meant to do this probably before this one, but we're gonna go back to sporty for a second and get it even more casual than it was before. The t-shirt and the white sneakers were casual and almost a little grungy because my sneakers are so dirty, but I think this even goes further into the athletic vibe because we've got the Nike Dunks, the jean jacket, and I am adding my Celine because this is how I would wear it, but not, you could just also wear it with like whatever bag you had. Tote bag would be even more grunge or like athletic, like a little sports bag or something like that. Very easy, very cute, very go and watch your boyfriend play basketball or something like that. I don't know. I don't have a boyfriend and I don't care about basketball. but I do like the athletic vibe of this outfit. It's just casual in a different way than the other one was. I think this also leans into a little bit more of that tomboy vibe. This is like a big oversized jacket, so it looks like maybe I've stolen something from my boyfriend's closet. Yeah, I think this is really fun and a very different sort of casual from what I showed you earlier. So this is something I would definitely wear. This is very much like a me on the weekend outfit. Actually, this is me every day. But I really like it, and it can just, I don't necessarily think it makes as much sense if you take off the jean jacket. Like if you're gonna be just walking around in sneakers and the dress, I think that might look a little odd. You'll have to let me know what you think. Like, this feels like not quite it. You can't just throw on one piece of athletic something and expect the vibe to change entirely. You kind of have to put a bunch of pieces together to create an overall visual effect. So I do think in order to like lean in and look right, you have to have the jean jacket as well. And I think it does need to be oversized. I think that if you wore a fitted jacket, it wouldn't do the same thing because you're going for that more like masculine element. The dress and the bag are feminine, the shoes and the jacket are masculine, and that's what creates that tension that makes it work. Without all of those pieces together, it just doesn't feel right. Like, this doesn't feel right to me. I need the jacket to make it feel right. If I was just wearing the white sneakers, on the other hand, that would feel right because it's just a casual vibe, right? Like, it doesn't necessarily need anything else. I just threw on a pair of sneakers. So it's also funny how the right sneaker matters depending on what you want to go for. So I don't think that the jean jacket works as well with this dress because the dress is already like quite loose and oversized. And so then the jacket just maybe looks like it's drowning me more than creating a contrast. Whereas the Veronica Beard dress is tighter and more form-fitting, and this jacket kind of complements that. It's like too much of the same, if that makes any sense. I think that what would work is a more cropped jacket with this one to give you a more natural waist definition. You could see the waist in the other dress because it was tighter, whereas this is just like I'm a blob, I'm a little floaty blob, and it's great. It's very nice, it's very comfortable, but I think that I just would prefer, I don't think it doesn't work, like it's fine. I think it would look better with a shorter jean jacket, maybe a little closer fitting to like, again, create that juxtaposition between the silhouettes. That said, I do think that this works a little bit better in terms of the sneakers just with this dress. And I think that's because, again, we have like an oversized, loose fitting thing. It feels a bit more like, almost like one of those jersey dresses. Obviously it's nothing like a jersey dress, but it kind of has that silhouette of just like a long, oversized t-shirt that you've decided to wear as a dress, whereas the other one is very clearly a fitted dress. So I do think that that might help a little bit. I don't know that I would do this, and if I did, I still wouldn't carry the Celine. I'd carry like a tote or like a more casual bag that was like leaning into the more athletic vibe, just to kind of pull it together a bit more. But for some reason, I think these sneakers work better on their own than they do with the other dress. So that's fun. So I guess I'll give it a tie again because they both can do the look, but they're both sort of doing it in different ways and require slightly different styling. So toss up on versatility there? I don't know. Okay, let's go on a date, shall we? Let's see what we can do for date night. Definitely pulling these out. All right, date night. So to me, this dress reads daytime. It definitely can do evening, but I just feel like the pockets, the style of it, it just feels a little bit more daytime. Sometimes I think nighttime dresses are best either like very figure hugging, which this is like more of a shift dress, so it's not quite as figure hugging, or they need to be very fluid feeling, slinky, and that leans to that like sort of sexiness of them. So between the material and the structure of this dress and the detailing, it does read more daytime to me. However, if you are packing light and you are on vacation and you want a date night out, there is no reason that you cannot wear this as an evening dress. There's no reason I couldn't wear this to a date night in Seattle. I just personally, this wouldn't be my first choice, but it totally works. You know, it's just a matter of preference. And so for me, again, this feels more like daytime. However, it totally could be cute for date night if you wanted to. If you are out in Europe, may I recommend not wearing these kinds of heels. This is not unless you're like door to door and doing like no walking on cobblestones. That would be a terrible idea in those heels. Have I done it? I usually wear a block heel if I'm gonna wear a heel that high, at least in Europe. This is a bit more appropriate to European cobblestones, or any place that has cobblestones, or pavement that's not like smooth and flat and easy. If I was packing light, I would definitely do this. I don't know if you'll agree, but this silhouette just feels more like a nighttime silhouette. It also feels very daytime, like it's just a dress that can truly go day to night. So I really like it, especially like with the heels. Super little fun statement heel, little clutch bag. All of a sudden, I'm ready for a glass of wine. I would love a glass of wine, it's too early. But yeah, I don't know. There's not a huge amount to say about it. It's also just like so nice that this dress is so simple that it only needs a pair of heels. Like I don't have to do anything else to make this dress transition to a date night dress. It's done. I just put on a pair of heels. You can add in jewelry if you want. You can change out your clutch bag if you want, but I just feel really cute. There's one trick you can do also to change up the silhouette if you do prefer a more fitted dress, and that's add a belt. So let me do that. And just like that, you have some waist definition. These dresses are great for this. So what you do, the trick I have, is that I just take kind of from the bust and I sort of fold in to create this like pleated darting almost. And then I just kind of tuck it in here and the belt holds it in place. It creates this nice little pleat here, gives you a bit more waist definition, still have access to the pockets, but it just changes the silhouette of the dress. And I think that that's just such a great little hack. And now I have a 2-for-1. I have a cute little swing dress and I also can create this little A-line fit and flare, almost fit and flare. It's not quite fit and flare, but I can create a different silhouette with just using a belt. I think that a black belt might be better just because this can be quite a bit of like a contrast. I wanted it to, well, I have these, so that's one reason I'm trying it. I like a statement. It ties in the leopard a little bit more. Not that you need to, this is totally fine on its own, but it does kind of tie them together. What I would prefer if I had everything I wanted, there's a little leopard print dash clutch from Veronica Beard. That would be really cute. And then I would just do a black belt and then the clutch and the shoes would match. And that would be my thing. In a perfect world. This is still very cute and works great. So yeah, definitely an easy one to do. You can swap out any pair of statement heels, use whatever belt works. I mean, a black belt, you can't go wrong, right? So really quite cute. You could also just do a statement belt. Like you could make the belt the thing, right? And that would be totally fine. But the important thing is here you can change the shape. I just really like having the option. It gives me a lot more versatility in my clothing, and especially again, if you are going on longer trips where you want to pack light, you want to have different outfits to wear because it does get boring to wear the same thing day after day, then this is just a great hack to do that. I don't think it would work as well with the Veronica Beard one because of all of the like buttons and the pockets and things like that. So something to be aware of. All right, let's do one more option. Let's see how it transitions into fall and winter. It is not a big change. I'm just adding a boot. Boots are great, especially tall boots. They add warmth to your legs when it gets chilly out. You could definitely throw on a pair of tights. I'm too lazy to do that right now, but you definitely can. And then a simple, nice wool or cashmere cardigan over it adds a lot of warmth really quickly. This is really great for like early fall evenings. You can definitely just wear this over it as it gets colder out. If you want to take it off, you can throw it over your shoulders, especially if like, you know, how fall weather can be really temperamental. And sometimes it's 60 degrees out, 68 degrees out, and sometimes it drops into the like 40s out of nowhere and you're like, why? At least it does around here. I've grown up in cold climates most of my life, so that's what I know. You can just, again, throw this over your shoulders. How lovely and chic is that? If you need to add a little bit more warmth because it's getting colder, or maybe you just are in a slightly colder climate than Seattle, put a long sleeve shirt underneath it. Again, we showed you like it can layer shirts underneath this really effectively. So maybe like a thin cashmere knit. But yeah, you can definitely just like layer this up. And I think that allows you to transition it well into fall. I don't really think that I would wear this into late fall. I think probably early mid-fall would be kind of where I would stop wearing this dress, unless you're in a very warm climate. Like if you're in the southern United States or Latin America or South America or in southern Europe where the temperatures are warmer and this kind of material makes sense, then I think you can layer it appropriately and keep it well into the fall and maybe even winter depending. You're like, Kim, this doesn't prove anything. I mean, it looks cute still, right? So the thing to know, again, similar to the conversation around the jean jacket, is that when you're picking your sweaters and your cardigans, any overlayer piece, you do again have to be conscious of length and fit, as in like close proximity fit to your body, because that dress is much more fitted and this is a bit more oversized. So instead of going with the longer, I know they look very similar, they're different cardigans, I promise. This one is a bit more fitted, is a bit more cropped, and so it works a little bit better with this silhouette. So that's just something to be aware of. And you can see that if I were to pick a sweater and put it over this as like a top and to have this be a skirt, like you could definitely do that. I could also do that little belt trick and tuck it in to give me a bit more definition, and then I could like tuck this in and it would be a bit more like fitted, and yeah, so I could wear this as a skirt. I think actually both of them would lend themselves to skirts pretty well if you wore something over the top of them. It just depends again on your fit and stuff like that. So something to be aware of. The main reason I think that this dress is better for a winter transition, or like gets you later into the fall and can be brought out earlier in the spring, is because of the fabric. This is a heavier material. It is still linen, but it's a heavier linen. The interior is a little bit heavier. Just the fabric weight is heavier, and I don't think it reads, it's also like a stretch linen, so it doesn't wrinkle quite as much. It just kind of reads differently than the full like regular flax linen. And I think that when you think about how do pieces transition into the seasons, it's very important to not just think about, okay, can I technically layer this enough to make it work? Yeah, you can. I can layer that dress, which is thinner and lighter and like more breathable. I can transition, like I can layer that appropriately for winter, but in terms of like warmth, but not in terms of aesthetic. Because of the way that that material looks and feels, any outfit I wear it with in the deep winter is just gonna feel inappropriate. Even early winter or late fall is gonna feel inappropriate because the fabric doesn't match the season. And maybe if you live in the South or like in warmer areas of the world where winter doesn't really get that cold, it reads great for that because it's breathable fabric, which works for your temperature, but because it's dark, it allows you to kind of have that more like winter vibe. I mean, black is a year-round color, whatever, but you get the point. This, for my climate in Seattle, like what is it? We're in mid-January and today is like a high of 40 something. Like I need to wear tights and a sweater with it and like heavier layers, but I can definitely make this work in the middle of winter because the fabric doesn't read quite as summery as the other one. It feels more appropriate. I still don't think that I would. I think this is still very much like a summer, fall, spring piece. If I was gonna wear a dress like this, I'd want it to be more of like a heavier cotton or a wool blend of some kind, but I definitely could make it work if I needed to, and it certainly would read more appropriate than the other dress. So just because you can make it work doesn't mean that you should make it work. Think about the seasonal appropriateness of the fabric you're wearing as you're transitioning clothes to try and get more use out of them. So that's my tip for that. Okay, that's it for today. I really appreciate you watching. I hope that you'll comment below and let me know what you think. Throw out other styling ideas. Really, like, this is meant to be inspo, like I said, so sharing your ideas with other people in the comments is a great way to sort of build community and create more ideas for all of us. So please, yeah, consider doing that. And if you like this content, consider subscribing because that really means a lot to me. And there are way more videos for you to watch from. The ways to wear it playlist I'll link somewhere. I'm gonna do another one with a crop top and, well, crop top, tube top. This is the Stella McCartney one from the last haul, picture here. So I'll be doing that one next. And I hope you'll consider subscribing and checking that out as well. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.